All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. My name is John, and every now and then, every few months, I like to do an update on all my nodes and my workers and every connection that I have, because things change, and I have 430 points right now, or contributions. So basically, the way you get it, if you're a new player, just running down this real quick, is basically just do various activities, and you get more contribution points over time. The best way would probably be doing cooking, and then cooking like grilled bird meat, because there's literally hundreds of thousands, and you just keep cooking it and turning it into contribution points. So if you're looking to power level it, that's probably the way. But anyway, I wanted to go over my node setup because it's been a few months since we've done it, and actually some stuff I changed. So I believe to change it, this is probably easier to look at this way instead of like with all the trees and everything. So anyway, I'm gonna go by regions and tell you what's worth getting and what's not, and why I have it. So before we go over anything, I just want to say that you should pick the nodes that you are actually going to use. So let's say if you are cooking, get the things that might be a bottleneck for you, and just one less thing you have to think about. So what I'll tell you is just like things I think are profitable and worth getting over some things that might not be. So anyway, the Balenos region, generally I value timbers and ores pretty highly just because I actually do use them, and there's various other things too that we'll talk about as we get to specific nodes. But as a general whole, timbers are very rare. You turn them into like planks and then plywoods, which you could either sell or use for a lot. And so things I think that are notable, starting with Velia, because chances are this is going to be the first region you start investing in as a new player. So things I would recommend are chicken meat right here. And I believe there's 2 nodes for that. So like chicken meat right here and here. Now, I think these are good ones to start with because, as I mentioned before, getting chicken meat, you could turn it into grilled bird meat, which is to feed your workers to continue to cycle. Plus, you could turn that into like the contribution XP, so it just keeps building. So that these are 2 nodes that are very easy to cook. You just get the chicken meat, and then you buy the 3 other ingredients from the NPC in any town, and it's very easy to do. Entry-level cooking, basically. So these are the 2 nodes I definitely recommend investing into. All of these are just like timbers and various ores. Iron ore is actually something that you guys will use a lot of in the future. You may probably have like millions now, and you probably just had the node running. And if you don't think you need it, trust me, you'll need it in the future for various things, assuming you play the game a lot and you do everything and not just grind in circles 12 hours a day. So these are iron node that I was planning on getting. Going down in here, we have more iron and powder of flames. We'll also talk about traces and saps, which I think are very rare if you are planning on doing any sort of alchemy in the future. And as a veteran player, I would recommend to all of you, save your traces, and I guess save certain saps, because you may not think you want to start leveling alchemy, but when you decide you want to do a guru push for alchemy, it takes so much time, and you might as well just start crafting like elixirs or something, because you will need them in the future. The day you get to like 300 AP or something and you want to grind high-end zones, you'll have it already ready. So down here we have just random stuff that I don't think are really relevant. If we talk about these nodes over here, you'll see it's a little shovel, and some of you guys may not actually see it because it's not here by default. So what you're going to want to do is talk to the node manager wherever this node is, right? And then they'll have some dialogue where it's like pay some energy, right? And then it'll unlock the excavation node. That's how it works. And then a lot of excavation nodes are definitely worth your time, and traces are very important for alchemy, so it's good to get them early even if you don't use it. Down in the Heidel area, there's a lot of cooking materials, in my opinion, along with various timbers. So if you are a new player, the things I would recommend getting is the excavation node down into Glish ruins, because this one gives Trace of Origin, which is used for high-end elixirs. And ever since that change with the like now that people gather a lot more with the the green thumb thing, it doesn't give you more traces, but it allows people to gather more. So people are just like investing in various different things. And it's also like when you gather, you can get those the things where you dig up the dirt and you pay the gold key, whatever it's called. And so you can convert things in one way or the other, and it gives you a lot of fruits as well. So aside from this Glish ruins node, if you do alchemy and you need mushrooms, there's some down here, but I think the valuable ones are saps and timbers. So these are also entry level ones as well. And it might be a good idea to start connecting nodes now, because recently, I think in the past month, they made a change where if you were to withdraw a node, you can still keep the level of the investment. So like, for example, I have level 20 at Ash Forest because you want the extra 10% drop rate. And before, the way it would work is if you got rid of that node, you would lose the levels. Nowadays, I believe if you got rid of the node, you can still keep the levels, which is, I've definitely lost a lot of level 20 nodes. Like, for example, Orc Camp. I had this at level 20 and I was like, okay, I guess I'm done grinding orcs. And then I just got rid of it to get my CP back. And now it's level 1. And then they made that change. It is what it is. So you might want to start considering this if you're around the 280 area and you are grinding orcs, because investing in that node is actually worth your time. So if you're just looking for extra things to get, probably the Costa farm for wheat and flax. Those are two really good things. Wheat is also good for beer, which is basically the equivalent of chicken meat in a way, and then everything else. So like if you look at this, I have a lot of grilled bird meat. Am I ever going to use it all? Probably not. And I just kind of have it to boost my contribution. Not that I actually need it. I mean, you do use it, but it's not as important in a way. And then one of the notable nodes over here is cooking honey. And if you do any sort of cooking, these are very limited in nodes. I mean, you can still get a lot of them because it's just a rare, I guess, node, which is more now. But cooking honey, timbers, any saps that you can get over here are also good. Now, going into the Calpheon area, we used to have a lot more, but then I got rid of some. So in Keplan, we have the quarry, and this one is for coal. And that's basically it. We used to have more connected down for more coal over here, but I think with the land of the morning light, I definitely took out a lot of nodes. So anything else, we have tin ore and rough red crystals. If I were to get rid of any nodes, it'd probably be that one. But birch timber is definitely very valuable because timbers are worth a lot. Another excavation node, Trace of Forest, is very good. Trace of Battle, I believe, is pretty valuable now. So I think both of these are decent depending on what you do. And then Debris Tree Ruins is more just timbers. So I actually used to have over 500,000 birch timbers over here, and then I started processing them over time, and so now we don't. And so yeah, that's what we have here. And Port Epheria, we have fish nodes over here, and the reason why we have them is I was just too lazy to get rid of them over the past like 5 years. And if you guys have been playing this game for, I don't know, 6+ years now, you would know back in the day, feeding your pets, like it's still the way it is now, but it wasn't easy to get the pet food off the market. So chances are you had to make all the good feed yourself. And so this is one of the things where you have to get the dried fish and whatever. And so like this is literally just years worth of fish nodes collection. And yeah, so we had to make all the good feed ourselves, and this is why we had them. But if you do have extra nodes, these nodes are kind of long cycles in terms of like 6 to 12 hours, I think. And so is it worth it? Probably not really these days anymore, but I just still have them because some nodes are they're like not bad, but in case I ever want to make infinite amounts of pet food for the rest of my BDO career, I can do that. So down here in Trent, I would recommend not really investing into these nodes unless you have a large supply of contribution points already available, because I think this is more like a mid to end game thing. Well, I mean, you could do whatever you want, but it's just kind of like out of the way, and if you don't know what you're using it for, I would just recommend not getting it. So down here, we have cedar timber and spirit leaves. Spirit leaves are the ones you really want. So yeah, we have over 600,000 cedar timber here and just a lot of other things. So mostly I use it for cedar sap, which is a high priority. Spirit leaves are really good. I used to use bloody tree knots a lot, but if I'm going to process anything, it's going to be the cedar timbers and then just drain the 680,000 of them. And so all of these nodes go basically to Trent. Next, we have 2 nodes in Marie Cave. So pine timber and pine sap. I mostly use it for the pine sap because it's actually really difficult to get saps and or time consuming. So it's going to be your bottleneck for a lot of alchemy. And just ghost mushrooms around here. I don't think I need ghost mushrooms, but I just kind of just have the node running onto something right now. Let's see. So we went through Velia, Heidel, Calpheon, Trent. Down here in Grana, we have basically an excavation here for Trace of Forest. And that's good for alchemy as well. Loopy Tree Forest, we have it because it gives saps and timbers. And I guess the planks too. So it's generally pretty good. This is a very specific node to the point where if you get it, you really need to know what you're doing with it in terms of alchemy and or processing. So it's one of those things where you should only get it if you know what you're doing with it. Down here in Old Wisdom Tree, we have Thornwood Forest for the Thornwood sap. And Thornwood sap is actually pretty like difficult to obtain normally. So we have that, and saps are very valuable for elixir crafting at endgame. Odraxia, we have more Thornwood sap going on with this node, and Narcion is for the chicken meat and eggs, as we talked about in the Velia one. So I think that's pretty good. One notable node down in Odraxia that I have is at Olin's Valley. We have nickel and mithril. So I think, honestly, that the reason why I have this node is for the mithril. And I'm not really sure if it's that good. Like, right now, we have 133 mithril. And I've had that node on for at least like a year. So like the drop rate is not really that good, but we have it for various things. So just maybe one day they'll actually start buffing that node. They did actually, but it's still not really that good. And Duvencrune, we have exactly, I think, 1 node. I used to have more. But down here we have an excavation for Trace of Memory. I truly think that Trace of Memory is the most valuable trace that you can get because it's used for various elixirs. I think there's only 1 elixir that's used for. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's definitely something you put into your PvE and PvP rotation. So yeah, we have Trace of Memory. What I used to have here is I had the mithril thing connected. We probably had zinc and fir timber from other things as well. So I think that was probably it. Other than that, things I'd recommend, you could definitely connect past Garmoth, which is up here, and then probably the Thuja stuff if you needed it. And down into Shira Ruins, Bracken used to be worth a lot. So just those are, keep in mind, those are, I think, things that are worth it. So in Eilton, which is the Mountain of Eternal Winter down here, I have 3 nodes. So this one is Trace of Death and Cooking Honey. Trace of Death, I actually get a lot of by grinding from other places, so I don't personally need it. But if you need it yourself, this is a good node to put. And Cooking Honey, we talked about that earlier in terms of is it worth it. So there's that. Birch Timber is just a valuable node in a way. And Jade Starlight Forest, I would recommend a lot of you guys invest in this node, regardless of if you need anything from here. Because eventually, a lot of you guys are going to grind this spot for the Labresca helmet if you can't buy the flame off the market directly. And so this is actually the best spot to grind for the blue flame to turn your helmet into Labresca. So just leveling up this node is always a good thing. But aside from that, the Snowfield Cedar Sap is used for... What did I make the other day? I think it was... maybe Griffin elixirs, which are valuable, and then just Rough Jade is actually one that's worth a lot. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on here. Rough Jade about 10,000 per, and Snowfield Timber about 5,600, which you should not sell it at the timber. You should turn it into plywood, and chances are you'll make a little bit more. But aside from that, Rough Jade, Snowfield Timber, and Snowfield Cedar Sap are valuable. Down here in Madaya and Tarif, let's talk about Tarif for a second, because a lot of these are connected differently. So I believe the way it works is, if you look at this line down here, past Tarif, right, you have the farm, the highlands, and Omar Cave. I think anything past this line to the right is Altinova connected, and to the left is Tarif connected. So anything notable here, I believe, is the Trace of Earth right here from the excavation node. And that one is used if you grind Sakraya and you're looking to turn all those like abyssal essences thingies into one of those frenzy drafts. I think that's one of the materials you need, so you might as well pick that up. Ancient Fissure right here for the zinc ore. Zinc ore is actually pretty valuable. And then 2 sap and timber nodes, which I think are valuable over here. Everything else is just kind of personal preference if you need it or not. More zinc and coal over here if you need them. And aside from this, like if you just want extra silver, cotton wool is pretty valuable, I think. Let me just double check on that. So about 3,100. It went down in price. It used to actually be like 15k per, but then people caught on. So anyway, going down into Altinova, we have one from the abandoned iron mine with zinc ore, because zinc and platinum are actually worth a lot if you are planning on doing any tier 10 horse attempts in the future. I think platinum is one of them that is actually very expensive. And we have the 2 over here for elder tree timbers, planks, and saps. And we have 1.82 million timbers. I'm probably never gonna process that, by the way. That's just like, if I wanted to just AFK process timbers for about 6 months, maybe not 6 months, like 3 months straight, and that's all I do, I could probably run about 2 million down. But I actually like playing the game, so it'll probably never go down to number. The big number is just gonna get bigger. That's cool. And so zinc ore, kind of worth a lot. Iron, worth a lot as well. And platinum. Platinum is actually very expensive, and you should probably keep them. So yeah, platinum ore, very expensive. You might want to put the node on that right now. And down here, I believe in Arehaza connected, I will say these nodes are something that I would recommend not investing into unless you really know what you're doing. So down in Arehaza, I have all these ores and stuff. So titanium and vanadium. And basically, if you know, you know. But these come on the side. So I'll just tell you what they do. You can use them to craft Monos accessories. It's still not cheap. It's just you can't really buy these off the market. But if you know how to craft it and do enhancing, then these two nodes are definitely worth doing. I personally think Vanadium is worth a little bit more than the Titanium, but I mean, if they make different things. So yeah. Other notable ones would be down in Chikatu. These fig nodes they used to be worth more than they are now. But if you do any sort of boxes, like for food to turn into Imperial, figs are definitely worth something. So you probably want to invest into them if you do your own boxes. So every now and then I just like to collect more and then I take the node off. I think it might be... I'm not sure if it's better to just buy them or have them running for now, but like the price is at the point where I feel like if you could buy it, it's probably still profitable to do that. So we talked about all the nodes on the mainland. Let's talk about some in the new area, the Land in the Morning Light. So let's break this down into 3 categories. Village, middle village, and the county, or the right village. 1, 2, 3. Easy. Okay, so in the Moodle village, I have excavation node down here for trace of memory. The reason why we talked about that, elixir crafting, trace of memory is very valuable. Down here, I believe the way I have it connected, I'm not 100% sure, but like I take this line down from the Dalball village, and anything to the left of that is connected to here, and then to the right is probably connected to the county. So over here we have these 2 excavation nodes. This one is probably the more valuable one because Trace of Earth is valuable. The Embers and the Forest Crystal, if you get it, you get it. That's cool. And this one is also pretty good, only if you get the Crystal of Harmony, because that allows you to make the ultimate Hooms or the Macalods, which are 1 billion silver each. And you need the Crystal of Harmony to get it. So if you've done the Land of the Morning Light, you probably got like 2 or 3 of them for free, and you still have to like get the other ones by yourself. So down here we have Crystal of Darkness and Bitterness. I would say that a lot of these, if you're just collecting the Mysterious Powder, I believe it's used to craft, or like it's either alchemy or cooking. I haven't actually started crafting anything notable in here, so I just started building the Mysterious Powder up. But yeah, definitely worth it. Up here we have an excavation for Trace of Earth because I value that one. And I have had a lot of these nodes since day 1 because remember, for the first like month of Land of the Morning Light, a lot of these crystals are best in slot now, so a lot of people use them. And you guys can watch my crystal setup video, and a lot of it's still relevant to this day. So yeah, Crystal's Decimation was definitely worth it. More saps. And so down here we have, this one is for the new boat, and I don't have it yet, but eventually I just wanted to have everything connected, so I'll show you what it is. So if any of you have made a Carrack back in the day, basically getting the boat gear functions the same way, where you need the blueprints and then Starlight Powder. So we just kind of have all those connected, plus I mostly wanted the saps as well and traces, so that's good. I would say, if anything, most of these, like, you see all of these crystal things where you could turn it into the expensive ones. So this is definitely something that I would recommend to all of you. Start investing into these ones for your Crystal of Harmonies. A lot of these you could actually just buy off the market now. So if you don't want to spend like 600 mil on them, you could try to get it yourself. Otherwise, I had them since day 1 when they weren't available, so I had to make every crystal myself. And all of these are my elixirs for when I do bosses, so I have a video of that as well if you want to watch it. But I think that's it. We talked about all the nodes that I had, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. And ultimately, if you are picking out nodes for yourself, timbers, saps, Various traces are worth a lot. Platinum ores and just certain ores that you think you might need are worth a lot, as well as a lot of the Land in the Morning Light ones are pretty good as well. So I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a quick like on the video. Definitely helps me out. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.